Hello everybody, welcome. Happy Sunday to all for December the 8th of 2024. This reading is going to be provided by whoever is going to be watching this video, whoever is going to be listening to this. But the way of how it goes, this is going to be very, authentic and very reasonable about how things are. This is how it is. This could be maybe a Bible reading slash a tarot reading at the same time. I think it might be doing that. But this is the way it goes. If you're wondering what I'm drinking, is that I am drinking a chai tea. Very interesting. Put a little bit of some salt into it. It tastes a little bit bitter, but it's basically how it is. It will help you as it goes along. It's very tasty. It will help your concentration and everything else on how it is, right? Because it suits your own system. It gives you that motivation of that. The way of how hydration and everything else, right? So this is what it seems to be. Knowing that this is going to be how it is and how it's going to affect of all of you, it's the way of how this reading is going to go and how it is, right? This is the way of how you can do that as long as it needs to, and it's the way it happens. This is the way of how enjoyable how life is skill, and this is how it seems to be. Okay, so this is what's going on. I'm going to read you. I might do a Bible reading. I don't know what specific it is, but I'm just going to do a Bible reading kind of thing. I don't know if I should do this Holy Bible reading, or I might do this other big one. I think I might do the other big one. Because it's more good for it. So it's very interesting. But today is just a wonderful reading that everyone should understand about what's going on through this reading. And this is what it feels like. I will do the tarot situation, what's going on through this situation, and this is how it seems to be. It's the way of how it goes, is the way of how it is. Sorry about the long pause, but the way of how it is. I'm just gonna see how it is, and this is the way it kind of goes, because I want to understand that the way of how it seems to be. I just want to know about how it is. So I'm going to read you basically a way of how it goes. I'm going to read you some way about the Bible. I don't know where I'm gonna be, but I think if I just look at the Bible and I think that okay, well, everything's fine in an instant, I think that if I just did the way that I did a long time ago, that I was reading about Matthew, the 20th, I think the 23rd, but in the Bible, right? So if I read at least the way about the Bible is, I'm trying to remember which page I'm going to read the Bible. So, this is the last, I'm not going to say the last time that I'm going to read the Bible, but, this is the way it kind of goes, because I'm trying to figure out which story I'm going to read you. So I think that in my own way of how it is, I don't want to leave you the whole entire chapter. I think I will read you on what's happening through this situation now. This is the way of how it goes, because this is the way it happens. If I read Jesus restores a demon possessed man, I can read for chapter 5, Mark 4, so Mark 4:35, but it will be Mark 5, and then the end will be number 20 in the Bible. So it's going to be a long chapter, but I just want to know that everything will be fine in its way, in this public setting that how it is. I know that all my viewers will understand that it's like one reading a Bible that this way. It's basically how it is. It's basically how it unfolds. And if you're wondering why I'm putting the tarot into the situation, I will do that as well. So this is going to be like a mixture of everything. This is how it is, right? So, you have to believe me, you have to understand that, you have to know how it is. I know that you will hear my voice a little bit different, but this is the way it goes. This is the way of how it is. So I'm going to read you chapter 5, in Mark. So if you have a Bible with you, you're going to read the Bible with you. If you don't, you will hear me read. But then I understand that how it is. So remember to give it a like, give it a comment, and this is how it is. So this is how it is, and this is the way it happens, and let's get started, okay? Alright, so here it is about this reading, alright? So here we go. So it says, Jesus restores demon-possessed man. It says, they went across the lake to the region of the Gerasenes. When Jesus got out of the boat, a man with an impure spirit came from the tombs to meet him. This man lives in the tombs, and no one could bind him anymore, not even with a chain, for he had often been chained hand and foot. But he tore the chains apart and broke the irons on his feet. No one was strong enough to subdue him. Night and day among the tombs and in the hills, we would cry out and cut himself with stones. When he saw Jesus from a distance, he ran and fell on his knees in front of him. He shouted at the top of his voice, "What do you want with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? In God's name, don't torture me." For Jesus had said to him, "Come out of this man, you impure spirit." Then Jesus asked him, "What is your name?" "My name is Legion," he replied, "for we are many." And he begged Jesus again and again not to send him out of the area. A large herd of pigs was feeding on the nearby hillside. The demons begged Jesus, send us among the pigs. Allow us to go into them." He gave them permission, and the impure spirits came out and went into the pigs. The herd, about 2,000 in number, rushed down the steep bank into the lake and were drowned. Those tending the pigs ran off and reported this in the town and countryside, and the people went out to see what had happened. When they came to Jesus, they saw the man who had been possessed by the legion of demons sitting there, dressed in his right mind. They were afraid. Those who had seen it told the people what had happened to the demon-possessed man, and told about the pigs as well. Then the people began to plead with Jesus to leave their region. As Jesus was getting into the boat, the man who had been demon-possessed began to go with him. Jesus did let him, but says, "Go home to your own people. Tell them how much the Lord has done for you, and how he has had mercy on you. So the man went away and began to tell in the Decapolis how much Jesus had done for him, and all the people were amazed. So you think about how that was. You think about how it seems to be where Jesus was trying to get the man to be not possessed, and he wanted to do exactly what's happening, right? This is the way it happens. This is the way of how it is. Because when you think back to yourself, you think about, oh well, there's all these things. There's always these good and evil, and there are things are going on around the world and everything else, right? So when a demon is possessed by a man and everything else, it's not very versatile. Like it's not very adequate or bad or anything like that. But if it was, it's basically like how it seems to be like where if you're being possessed about having a demon inside you, whatever, you're feeling like you're not like yourself. You're not being like yourself, and this is very critical. This is the way of how things are. You need to understand about how the way it goes, because this is an amazing detail about how it is in that way of where, okay, well, this is the way it goes. This is the way it happens. This is the majority of how it goes, right? You think back and say, all right, well, I'll do this correctly. I know what to do. Yes, this is the thing is, but you have to do what you're told to do. You have to be sporadic of how things are. You have to let it go. You have to let things to be happening, all at once. So, you have to be critical and be serious about this is how it is. This is the way it happens. Like when you have good and evil, and, yes, you have good things are coming at you, but then you have bad things are coming inside and out. Like, you have to think about the left, middle, and right. That's how it is, right? So you have to think about the left, right, and center situation where things will be out of place. Things will be how it is, right? It's like when you're taking a break from friends, in one way or another, where you see them every day, but then you think to yourself like, well, I'll be taking a break, right? You're taking a break for the whole entire week until you decide about coming out with that friend, or how everything is, right? So you have to think to yourself and say, well, this is the way it goes. This is the way it happens. This is the majority of how it goes. You have to think to yourself and say, well, this is the way it happens. This is the majority of it. You have to think to yourself and say, well, this is the way it goes. This is the way it happens. And this is how it is, because when things go the way how it goes, you have to look at them from a different angle, a different way, a different reflection, a different how it is, right? This is the way it goes. This is the way of how things are. You have to, do what you can and say, all right, well, I got this. I know what to do, right? And you think to yourself and say, well, yeah, I'm doing this correctly, So you have to understand that this is just beyond my point where, when I was reading about what's happening through the Bible situation, this is the way it caused, right? Because you have to, do what you can and then think to yourself as like, well, this is the way it happens, It's like you're going to be having compare and contrast. There are two things at once, right? You're comparing one thing, you're comparing to another thing. This is the way it goes, because you have to think to yourself as like, well, this is the way it happens. This is the majority. Majority is the key, to open every single door, whatever it is, right? But when you have no majority, you have unable to open any door with any key, So you have to face your abilities from the right and wrong perspective, You have to put things into perspective, put things into writing, put things into the way of how it goes, like write a letter or whatever. But you need to understand this is the way it happens. This is the way it works. This is the way of how it goes. You have to think to yourself as like, well, this is the way. This is amazing of how it goes. This is amazing of how things are. Yes, they're way it goes. But then you think to yourself like, well, okay, So this is what I have for you. This is what the reading is about the Bible that I just read you, but this is what it seems to be. So I'll put the Bible reading on into the description box as well. You can continue to read it if you want, but this is the way it happens, right? So you think to yourself and say, well, this is the way it happens. And if you have your own Bible, you can read it with me, once this video is premiering, whatever it is, but you have to go along with it and understand what I'm saying, because you have to understand that you have to be familiar about good and evil, good and bad at the same time, right? So we have to be critical about how things are. We have to mimic our own emotions, our own decisions, and everything else, right? It's the way how it happens, because in my own experience about what's going on, this is the way it happens. This is like an inflow into an outflow situation, right? So you have to understand that, right? Because this is what it is. So this is what it seems to be. Okay, so you have to understand that. So in the reading that I'm going to tell you all, because I want to know what's happening through this whole entire reading, it's basically on what's going on through this situation, because I just want to know what's going on, right? I just want to know how it is and what's going on, and this is what's happening, because I just want to see what's going on through this situation, and this is the way it kind of goes. So you have to understand that, okay, well, this is the way it happens, where you have that good and evil. You have like where you're having a good day or you're having a bad day, or you're having, low energy or whatever, right? You have to think to yourself and say, well, this is the way it looks. This is the way of how this seems to be, right? This is the way majority is. So you have to think and say, well, this is the way it kind of goes, right? You think to yourself and say, oh, this is right. So I'm going to do at least a 2-card reading. One is going to be on the left side, one is going to be on the right side. Do not get confused, because this is the way it happens in one way or another. And this is how it is. So I'm going to clarify, and this is the way it goes. Okay? So here we go. So we have basically the 5 Pentacles represents Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus. We have the 6 of Swords, which upright represents Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. So basically, when you have the 6 of Swords, which is upright, you have basically that ability about having that moving forward. The 5 Pentacles upright because it does represent money in that situation. Maybe you're going to look for money. Maybe you're going to have that way of how it is. This is the way it happens. This is how it is, because majority is the way it goes, and this is like how it kind of is, right? So you think to yourself and say, well, this is the way it happens. So let's see what's going on. For the Chariot is upright, there's progress. The Chariot is upright because you're balancing two things, and you're basically having the 2 cups upright. There's relationships, there's friendships. That's how it goes, right? So everything has to be all peaceful. All how it is one way or another, and you think to yourself, it's like, well, this is the way it happens, right? So this is the way it kind of does that. So let me see what's going on for the 6 of Swords. 2 Pentacles reversed, followed by the Eight of Cups reversed, Ten of Pentacles upright. So you could be dealing with another Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus. The Eight of Cups reversed, there's no entertainment, there's nothing there. But I'm going to see how it is, but the Lovers upright, because there is decisions, right? So when you have all these decisions, you have things are going on in that way of saying, all right, well, this is the way it happens. This is the majority of how it goes, right? You think to yourself and say, well, this is how it seems to be, right? Because you think to yourself and say, well, this is how it kind of happens, because you have to look through yourself and say, well, this is what's going on, right? So when you have the majority, you have the things that you want, you need, your complexion and everything else, right? And you think to yourself, it's like, well, this is the way it goes. This is how it seems to be, right? This is the way it happens, because you have the ability from the right and wrong. You know that you can do it. You know that you can have priorities. You have everything that you need. So when you think about that, you have like decisions you want to make. You have to tell the truth. You have progress. It's the way of how it goes, right? So this could be you. This could be them in that situation. You could be dealing with another Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. You could be dealing with another Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus. These are like between water signs and earth signs at the same time, because this is the way it goes. This is the way of how it is, right? This is like a part of how you can manifest your own situation and say, all right, well, I got this. That's what it says, right? This is the way it kind of goes. Because you think to yourself and say, well, this is the way it happens, right? This is like the majority is the way it kind of goes. What's in the middle of this situation? So the Four of Coins is upright, because you could be thinking about the money situation in one or another, right? This is the way of how you can do what you can and say, all right, well, I got this, I know what to do. But then you think to yourself, like, well, what's the point? What's the use? So this is the way it kind of goes. So let's see what's going on here. The Strength card is upright, the Hangman is upright, and the Four of Swords is upright. So you could be resting or healing. You could be dealing with another Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. You have restrictions. You could be having Leo in that situation, because you're having that strength. You're having that ability of saying, all right, well, I got this. I know what to do, right? And you think to yourself, like, well, this is the way it happens. Tell me something. What's the opposite? Like the left side. The Fool reverse, because there's no change. Ooh. Magician reversed. And you have the High Priestess reversed, means that you're not using your inner voice. That's very odd. So you're not having change. You're not having skill. You're not using your inner voice. That's very interesting on the left side. That seems to be very odd, isn't it? Yes, it is. Because now you think to yourself, like, well, okay, all right. What's the opposite on the right side? Magician is upright, High Priest is upright, and the Ten of Cups is upright. So it does represent Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. You are using your inner voice. You're having skill. This is the way it happens. Because when you have no skill, you have everything that you don't want. But then on this side, on the left side, on the right side, you do what you want. So when you think about it, you think that, what I can say about compare and contrast, comparing and contrast, doing two things at once, right? So you're trying to comparing two things at once. So this is the way it goes. Like, this is the way how it is, because you think to yourself, like, well, this is like an opportunity. This is the way it kind of is, right? Because you think to yourself, it's like, well, this is the way it happens, right? And you think back and say, all right, well, this is the way it kind of goes, right? So let's see what's in the middle of this situation. So what's in the middle? The Page of Swords is upright. So it could be maybe an education situation. It could be where you might be getting yourself educated. It could be that. Because you could be dealing with another Gemini Libra Aquarius. So there are things that you need to understand where, everything has to be on how it is. You have to look at how it is between the lines, Because when you think about it, you think, okay, well, I got this. I know what to do. It's like, all right, well, this is the fine lining. But then everything is like, okay, well, I know what to do, right? So let's say what's in the middle of this situation. So, the Fool is upright. The Magician is upright. And you have the High Priestess is upright. Yeah, see? Look at all these things. Look at that. Like, you have the Magician, the Fool, and the High Priest is reversed because you have no change, nothing. But in the middle, you have change, you have skill, you have inner voice. See, this is the way it goes, right? And you think, okay, well, I got this. It's like, yeah, you do, but is it worth it? Is it like you're having that priority and say, well, am I doing this correctly? And you're thinking, wait, I do or I don't. So who's doing this? Like who's on the left side of this situation? Okay, so the Nine of Swords is reversed. The Three of Wands reversed. Oh boy. But then you have the Five of Coins reversed. So which means that when the Three of Wands reversed, you have no communication. Wow, that's odd, isn't it? Wheel of Fortune's upright because you're having good luck on your side. Alright. Anything else? Ace of Swords reversed. The Knight of Cups is upright. So you're having romance in that situation. Because you're having good luck, you're having romance, you have things that are very interesting. Knight of Coins reversed. Wow. The Hierophant reversed. Okay. Three Wands reversed. Three Coins reversed. Two Wands reversed. But the Queen of Cups is upright. So there could be a man and a woman situation. In this situation, frequency of how it is. Like this is how it is where everything is like, okay, well everything is kind of be very enjoyable. Yes, it is. But then you think to yourself, well, this is the way it happens. This is, how everything is. Like this is not like a life skill and say, all right, well, this is the way it goes. This is the way it kind of works. And you think back to yourself and say, well, this is the way it happens, right? Because the majority is almost like saying like inside and out situation, but it's not really that. So let's see what's going on for the right side. The Knight of Swords reversed. Five of Wands, Five of Swords is upright. And the King of Swords reversed. Okay, so basically, the Five of Swords upright, there's revenge, there's conflict, there's things that are going to be how it is. Like, this is very interesting. Like, having conflict, having the way it happens, is the way of how it goes. What's opposite with that? Three of Cups reversed, so there's no, like, a third party situation, right? Like, there's no celebration, there's nothing about third party, whatever it is. So you have the Six of Swords reversed, but the King of Cups is upright. Yeah, see, there's another man situation. So there could be two men and one woman as a situation. This is the way it goes, right? So you having that fear based and saying, well, this is how it is. Like even if you have the High Priestess upright, because that does represent but another woman. So it's like this is like a woman guy situation. It would be like a how it is, right? So you think back and say, well, this is the way it happens, right? So do you see it? Yes, like I see it because that's how it is, right? You think to yourself as like, well, this is the majority of how it goes, right? When you have the majority, you have things to be all great, all, how it is, right? This is the way of how it is. Because you look at this and say, right, well, I got this. I know what to do, right? So you think that everything will be fine, but then it's like, no, it's not. This is what the universe is saying. This is the way it kind of happens. So let's say what's going on the left side. Or this is the left side, this is the middle, this is the right. So I'm going to say what's the right side. The Empress is upright. The Emperor is upright. And the Hierophant is upright. Yeah, see, you want things to happen. You want things to be crystal clear. You want structure. You want the Empress could be where you might have nourishment. You might get yourself pregnant, maybe, but this is the way it goes, right? This is the way of how it is. You think to yourself, it's like, well, this is the way it happens. This is like the majority of how it is, right? This is like how things are, right? This is the way of how it is. It's the way it goes. So I can see it. I can understand that this is the way it kind of happens. So this is the way it seems to be. So I want to see what the universe is saying because I want to know. So I'm going to start with the middle and work my way up to the right, to the left side over here. So let's see. So we have the Page of Cups is upright because there's loyalty, right? That's the start. Loyalty. Six of Pentacles is kindness. All right. And the High Priestess reverse. Yeah. See, there's no inner voice, right? So when you had the inner voice, you do have an inner voice, but then you don't. The Nine of Wands is upright. There's fear. Okay. King of Pentacles is upright. There's security. The Empress is upright. There's nourishment, right? So you could be pregnant, maybe you're not, right? That's how it is. And the Devil reverse because there's no obsession. Page of Pentacles reverse. There's no prospects. The Five of Swords reverse. There's no revenge. But then the King of Wands reverse. There's no passion. Two of Cups reverse. There's no relationships. Right, so there's something that was behind this, right? There's no relationships, but then you think to yourself, well, there might be a relationship. The Judgment is upright. There's action. Okay, so we have one piece of the pie. That, like, you know what I mean? Like they're one piece of puzzle. You know what I mean? That's what it is. Now, on the right side, so we have the Three of Pentacles reversed. There's no excitement. Four of Wands is over there's celebration. Seven of Cups is over there's delusion. Ten of Cups is over there's completion. Moon is upright, there's missing rotations. The Knight of Swords is upright, there's drama in this situation. That's what remains. Five of Wands is upright, there's chaos. Three of Swords reversed, there's no heartbreak. Temperance reversed, there's no healing. Ace of Cups reversed, there's no satisfaction. Five Pentacles reversed, Five Pentacles upright, there's insecurity. And the King of Cups upright, there's support. All these things are the way how it goes, right? This is the way of how this universe is saying. It's the way of how you can be a talkative person, or the way of how you're being shy, or you don't know what you're talking about, whatever it is. But when you look at this and think, all right, well, I got this. I know what to do. This is based on how your relationships, or your friendships, or your emotions, or whatever it is, can affect you on how it is, right? And you have no relationships or anything like that. You're feeling like there's something that was wrong in this situation. Everything is. It's not like piece of the pie of that situation. It's not like give and forget, like how it is, right? This is the way it happens. This is like the majority of how it is, right? When you look at this and think, all right, well, everything's fine, but then you think to yourself, well, what's the use? This is the way it goes, right? This is the way of how things are in that perspective, right? Because when you have chaos, when you have drama, but then everything is just not making that way of saying, oh, well, I got this, I know what to do. This is the way of how it is. Like, this is a good spread of this reading. It makes sense, but majority is the way of how it can conclude that situation, right? It's the way of how you can do that. Like, what's the support here? So you have the Emperor's reverse, so there's no nourishment. Then you have the Emperor reverse, there's no structure. And basically this would be the Hierophant reverse, because you have no guidance. Like, there's nothing in that position of how it goes. But then you have the Lover's reverse, because you have no decisions. Because you already made a decision, or you do what you can and think, all right, well, this is like how this way of how it is. Like, you think to yourself, is like, why I'm having all these things? Why? Because you have to look at it. You have to look at things and say, well, I got this. I know what to do. Yes, it is imposing, but does it make any sense? Does it make that arithmetic, that way of how it goes, right? And you think to yourself, like, well, this is a point on issue on how it is, right? This is how you can be who you are and think to yourself, like, well, I'll do this correctly, and then this is the way it goes, right? Because this is what the universe is saying to me. You have to pay attention. You have to know your strengths, your abilities, and that in the way of how you can comfort your own emotions. This is the way of how it kind of goes. Because you think and say, well, I got this. And then you think, all right, well, I do. Right? So it's like, this is the way it kind of is. Now, what's in the middle of this situation? The Knight of Cups is upright, there's romance. Yeah, see, in the way of how it goes, that will be because you'll be dealing with a Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. So things will go into place. And when they do, right? Because that's what it seems to be. So this is the way it kind of is. Because you think to yourself, like, well, this is the way it happens. Like, let's see what's going on. Let's see what's happening. So tell me what's going on through this Knight of Cups situation. The Knight of Wands is upright. The Six of Coins reversed. The Moon reversed. The Chariot reversed. Wow. The Emperor is upright. See, when you have structure, you have structure. Right? This is the way it goes. You have Chariot reversed because you have no progress. But then earlier you had progress. So what's opposite with this Knight of Wands here? The Temperance is upright, the Four of Wands is upright, and the Ace of Cups is upright. Yeah, see, you have these things where you're having celebration, you're going to have healing. You know, this is the way it goes, because now you think to yourself, like, well, I got this, I know what to do, because you're in control. You're in control of your emotions. You're in control of how things are, and ability to do that. This is like a cause and effect situation, right? This is the way of how you can do it, as long as it needs to, right? And you think to say, all right, well, I'll do it. I know what to do, right? And then you think to yourself, like, well, this is the way it happens, right? So I understand that things will go into place, and you think that, okay, well, everything's fine. But then, like, what's the use? What's a good excuse about how it is, right? So I'm going to see what these cards are. We're almost done with this reading, by the way. So I'm going to see what's happening through this situation. So I'm going to figure out, like, who's going to be on the left side, who's going to be in the middle, and who's on the right. So just going to see what's happening through this. So let's see. Let's see, on the left side we have the Two of Earth. Too much going on at once, the need to make a decision. Consider a mirthful or playful approach. Yeah, there's too much going on at once. You know, so you could be dealing with a Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus. That's what it seems to be, right? There are too many things going on at once. In the middle, we have the Four of Air. Time to rest or take a vacation. Allow more time before making a decision. Meditation may provide answers. Yeah, so you might be taking a rest. Maybe you're going to do what you can. That's how it is. We deal with another Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Last but not least, you have the Four of Water. Missing an opportunity, discontentment, or boredom. Open your eyes to possibilities. Yeah, you know, so that could be that. So you could be dealing with another Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. So you have all of these, you know, elements of how it goes, and you think back, you think about how it was when you decide about what's going on. You have to believe on what's happening through this situation. You know, this is like a way of how I can see this and think to myself is like, well, this is the way of how it is. This is like beyond my point of view. You know, so you have to understand that this is the way it happens, because this is what's going on through this situation. So let's see what's happening. And the universe will tell me. So I'll start between the air sign, right through the earth sign, and then from the air sign back to the water sign. Okay, so this is the way it goes. So let's see. So the Strength card represents bravery, but it does represent Leo. Okay. Then followed by the Page of Swords. Is that right? There's education. I just said that earlier, but now it shows up. Queen of Wands is over there is charisma. And the Emperor reversed, because there's no structure, right? So when you have structure, you do have structure. Because on the right side you have structure. On your left side you have no structure, right? So don't get confused about it. Don't get confused. And then you have the King of Swords reversed, there's no knowledge. But then you have the Chariot upright, there's progress. Right? So earlier on the right side you have no progress. On the left side you have progress. right? So I could be talking about cross-watcher here or whoever else is watching this. Okay, this is the way it goes. Okay, now we got that on how it is, right? So this could be education, maybe it could be not, but this is the way of how it was. What's on the right side here? So we have the three of cups reversed. There's no celebration. Four of cups reversed. There's a distraction. The star reversed. There's no nourishment. The Knight of Pentacles reversed. There's no trust, or no trust. So you're not trusting anything. The Tower reversed. There's no transformation. The Seven of Swords reversed. There's no deceit. Seven of Swords. There's silence. The Seven of Pentacles reversed. There's no vision. Six of Cups reversed. There's the past. Ace of Pentacles. There's no growth. Two of Pentacles reversed. There's balance. Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Cups reversed. There's empathy. Yes. Eight of Wands reversed. There's no speed. Eight of Swords reversed. There's no anxiety. Wheel of Fortune is upright. There's good luck on your side. The Magician reversed. There's no skill. Yeah. World is upright. There's completion. Eight of Pentacles reversed. There's no perfection. The Hierophant reversed. Like there's no guidance, right? Death card is upright. There's endings here, right? So, everything that's going to be happening all at once is like you're thinking, okay, well, I'll do what I can. I do what things are. I know I can have my own capabilities of knowing what's happening, because when you have the Queen of Cups, it represents empathy. There are two sides of a story here. Look it up, okay? Because when you look at things, you think that, okay, well, everything's all tasteful, everything's all beauty, everything is all respectful. This is the way it goes. This is the way of how you can do that. Because when you think about it, you think, okay, well, I have completion, I have a distraction, I have empathy, I have bravery, I have all these wonderful words. It's the way of how you can do it. Because this is how based on how it is. This is like how it's going to be very interesting. This is not like the way of how it goes, but you have to look at that, right? So when you think about it, you think, okay, well, I got this. I know what to do. I can seize my own moment. This is the way it goes, because you're craving that tension. You're craving about you can do things on your own, right? This is the way it happens, because you need that spiteful situation of how it goes, right? But anyway, the point being is that you have to look at that from a different way, and you need to process on how it goes, right? You have to process how this is, and you think, all right, well, I got this. I know what to do, because when you think about it, you think, okay, well, everything seems to be fine, right? So let's see what the universe is saying. So the Lover is upright, there's decisions. The Chariot is upright, there's progress. The Strength card is upright, there's, you have strength, you have the Lovers because you have decisions. You have the Chariot is upright, there's progress here. This is the way it goes, right? So when you have two progresses, this is the way it kind of conflicts on how it is, right? This is the way of how you can do it, right? Now, what's also with the Strength card? The Hermit is upright because there's solitude. Maybe you're looking for a soulmate. The Wheel of Fortune is upright because you're going to have good luck on your side. The Justice is upright because you might be telling the truth in that situation. The Hangman is upright. There is restrictions that you're going through in that situation. The Death card is upright. There's endings here. Yeah, see, there are things that are going to end up. This is the way it kind of goes. The Temperance is upright. There's going to be healing. You're going to be healing about how everything is going to be how it was. The Devil is upright. There's obsession here. right? Because you're having violence, maybe you're going to be having a bad day, maybe things will be all, how it is. This is the way it goes, right? The tower is upright because there is transformation. Everything is changing bit by bit, day by day, week by month, week by week, day by day, week by month, week by week, month to month, and year by year. Okay, this is the way it kind of goes. The star is upright because there's inspiration. Yep. The moon is upright. There's misorientations. The sun is upright. There's positivity. This is the way it goes, right? So you're dealing with a Leo in that situation. The judgment is upright because you're going to take action. This is the way it goes. And last but not least, the world is upright. There's completion. So everything is going to be all completed once in your whole entire life about how it is. And then you think back and say, well, I got this. I know what to do. Because, this is the way it kind of goes in one way or another. Because at the bottom of this deck, you have the Five of Cups represents grief. So you're going to have grief. The Hermit reverse, there's no solitude because you're not looking for a soulmate, but then you will. The Six of Swords reverse, there's no movement, not just yet, but eventually it might be. The Three of Wands is already there's going to be communication, so you're going to communicate on the right side in that potential. The Fool reverse, there's no change, not yet. The Ace of Wands reverse, there's no new beginnings. The Lovers reverse, there's no decisions, nope. The Sun reverse, there's no positivity, so you're going to be in negativity. Yeah. 10 Wands is upright because there's all these burdens are going to come up. See? And then the Four of Swords reverse, there's no recuperation, nothing about that, no. But then you have the Knight of Cups is upright because there's romance. And then the Knight of Wands is upright, there's immaturity. Yeah, someone's being immature, That's what it was. And the Queen of Swords reverse, there's no independence, nothing. You're not doing things on your own, nope. And the Ten of Pentacles reverse, there's no wells, no, obviously there's nothing. Ace of Swords reverse, there's no understanding, so this is like a misunderstanding. Queen of Pentacles reverse, there's no stability, nothing. And then you have the Justice reverse, you're not telling the truth. No, you're not. Because you're lying about something. Two Wands reverse, there's no planning on something. Nine of Pentacles reverse, there's no comfort. Nothing about that. But then you have the Hangman reverse, there's no stillness. Like there's no restrictions. Not yet, but then you do. Knight of Cups upright, there's fulfillment. Yeah, see, this is the way it happens, right? You have the Ten of Swords reverse, there's no conclusions. Like there's no all these conclusions or anything like that. Six of Wands reverse, there's no achievement. No. But then you have the Two of Swords upright because you're in the crossroads, you don't know which direction you're going to take, left or right. Knight of Swords upright, there's drama, like trauma in that situation. And last but not least, you have the Page of Wands reverse, there's no invention, not yet. So, the cards don't lie in that specific reason. It's the way of how it shows in that, way of how everything is like reoccurring. Like the Judgment is upright because it's like you're going to take, action when you do, right? This is the way of how it goes. Even if you have, the way of how this is all processed, like when you get to the Two of Cups, you want friendships, you want things to happen, you want things to go your way, right? Even you think to yourself like, why I don't have no skill or anything like that, so you have to do what you can in order to be who you are, be the way of how it goes. Everything is all interesting, this is the way it happens. This is like the way of how you can do that. Because at the bottom of this deck, you have the Queen of Swords is upright. but then you have the Five of Cups is upright, because I just said that you're going to have grief. Three of Pentacles is upright because you're going to be in a third party situation. Four of Cups reversed because you're not having a destruction, not yet. But then the Three of Swords is upright because you're going to have heartbreak. Yeah, see? Because when you're in a third party situation, it kind of sucks. So it's the way of how it kind of goes. So, before I let you go, pay attention about this whole entire reading. Pay attention about what's happening around you, even if you have to focus on the way of how it goes. And you have to focus about your whereabouts and, who you're dealing with and who you're going out with and whatever. But before I let you all go, pay attention about what's happening in this reading, because it could affect you. It could affect about what's, when I was reading about the Bible to you all, and then about this whole entire reading that I just did. So you have to pay attention to everything and what I said to you, because it does make sense, right? You have your own set of priorities. You have your own, majestic feelings about how it is, even if you're having a good day, bad day, whatever it is. But then you think to yourself, like, well, I'll do what I can. This is the way it goes, right? And this is the way it happens, right? So I'm just telling you what's going on, and this is what the universe is saying, and this is the way it happens. So I hope you like this video. Please give it a like, please give it a comment, and enjoy. This is the way it happens, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much. Bye for now. Really. Bye.